Tennis reviews. I think 2021 has relatively low expectations, at least for me, because literally, other than the zombie apocalypse happening, 2020 has turned out to be, okay, like realistically, the only thing that could have made 2020 worse was like some sort of World War III. So I'm fine with 2021 just being kind of like a chill year and nothing crazy happening. You know, actually, crazy is a bad thing in this case. I would just want everything that's expected to happen in 2021 to actually happen. So, you know, I just want to play tennis, want to get this going. What's up, Cat's Mike? I saw that you enjoyed my RPM tennis string review, or sorry, the Babolat RPM Hurricane. I know that you did respond to my latest reply. So let me take a look at it. Andre Taggart, you can, but the conventional wisdom for having a hybrid is to string the polyester 10% lower than the synthetic or multi-filament. So if you're stringing the multi-filament at 55, it's suggested you string the poly at 50 or 49.5 if you want to be super accurate. Okay, so Cat's Mike had a question about the RPM Babolat RPM Hurricane being stiffer than the Luxilon 4G. Yes, that's my opinion. What would I say about the feel? I would actually say the feel on the Luxilon 4G is better. People say that the Luxilon 4G for some reason is super soft. Sorry. People say that the Luxilon 4G is super stiff, but it's not. At least for a polyester, for me, it's actually one of the soft. It's not the softest. It's not nearly as soft as Technofiber Razor Code or the Polytour Pro. But Luxilon 4G, in my opinion, is relatively soft. So, yeah, I mean, like the question people pose to me constantly is because out of all the tennis companies I rip on, whether it's Babolat or actually I do rip on Wilson every now and then. More on that later, but I mainly rip on Babolat. I've given Kirschbaum, you know, some shade, but the manufacturer I think is the biggest ripoff for consumers is Luxilon. I will give Luxilon this though: their strings do feel unique. Like if someone were to say to me, "Hey, what's the cheaper alternative to RPM Blast?" The top three to my head are ISOSpeed Baseline Control, which is right now my go-to. And actually, so I'm stringing right now for a client of mine. The second one would be the Technofiber Razor Code, and then the Yonex Polytour Pro. Luxilon does feel different, so it is a little bit hard to replicate. I know people have given me suggestions on small manufacturing strings that I haven't tried yet, and that is something I'm going to order if I have enough time later in this stream while you guys are watching and I'm answering questions. But yeah, Luxilon does have a unique feel, in my opinion. Again, just because it's a unique feel doesn't mean it's worth $300 a reel or, you know, $17 a packet. Hey, Calvin. Andre Taggart. So yeah, if someone is stringing full, full synthetic, if they're stringing their full bed of poly, again, assuming this is the same racket and same person, if they're stringing their racket with a full bed of poly at 50 and they want to try a full bed of multi-filament or synthetic, yeah, string it at 55 is a starting point. That's kind of like the rule of thumb, or at least a good way to gauge it. Yeah, I agree, Cats Mike, and you're not the only one. I guarantee you there's probably tens of thousands of people out there that kind of had this the same sentiment. So if I were you, try a packet of the Technofiber Razor Coat or the Onyx Polytour Pro. And I will definitely keep a mental note on any of the strings that I review in 2021. If there's anything that's like super similar to like a Luxilon Alu Power or a Luxilon 4G, I'll definitely keep that in mind, because that is, in my opinion, that's a very, very important kind of like comparison almost to make for this type of consumer-friendly channel, to see, hey, even though this really big stringing manufacturer, Luxilon, that's owned by Wilson, is like price gouging and basically has a monopoly on a quote-unquote monopoly on the high-end tennis strings, specifically the polyesters, I gotta really call out that distinction and have you guys save money. Yeah, that's a good idea. Andre, I would suggest, if you want to do something temporary, actually, you know what? Andre, if I were you, instead of going straight to a full synthetic gut, if you still have Yonex Polytour Pro laying around, try hybriding one of your rackets with the Polytour Pro on the mains. And then, unless you already ordered some of the synthetic guts, like the Gamma Synthetic Gut or the Onyx Dynawire, order Wilson Sensation. It's a pretty cheap option, which is surprising because it's Wilson who owns Luxlon. I'm surprised they're not screwing me up the ass right now with, with their synthetic gut prices. Hybrid Yonex Polytour Pro on the mains, and then Wilson Sensation or some sort of synthetic gut on the crosses. And then for your other racket, try the Wilson Sensation on the mains and the Polytour Pro on the crosses, and see if that relieves your golfer's elbow. If not, yeah, just go full synthetic gut. Yeah, Eric Wang, I was kind of afraid of that, and the thing that I'm also afraid of is I just don't wake up the next day because Luxlon or Babolat sends assassins after me. So thankfully, only one of those fears came to fruition, where Tennis Warehouse doesn't have any stock left. So I guess that's not too bad. What's up, Aditya? Oh, the VCore 95 Cats mic? Is that the newest version that released like 3 weeks ago? Thanks, Kyle. Cheers, Charby. Yeah, Sunsoccer 777, the Wilson Clash. I mean, I've heard very good things about it. It's one of the best-selling rackets, I think, in the past few years. I don't know the stats on that, but yeah, it's a good-selling racket. So yeah, the Yonex is obviously high-quality stuff too. So yeah, I would demo it side by side with the same strings and same tension range. Sunsoccer. Any good? Ooh, tennis reviews. I got a good one for you. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, that's fine. Cats Mike, they do have some minor differences from version to version. That's absolutely true. Tennis reviews. Thanks, David Hockett. So a good one to do is if you have a buddy of yours that has like a bucket of balls or a cart of balls, tennis reviews, is to obviously, you know, if you're the one working on the overheads, then your buddy with the bucket of balls is the one, you know, feeding you. Have him stand about 2 feet behind the baseline, behind the center hash mark, and then touch your racket against the net gently. Obviously, you don't want to ruin the net. And then he feeds you an overhead, right? You hit the overhead, hopefully, and hit it well, and then you sprint back to the net, tap it with your racket, and then he feeds you another overhead. But the trick is he should be feeding you with increasing difficulty, harder and harder overheads. By harder, I mean it's further back, and further back. And your goal as the person working on overheads is to always touch the net before you go back to get the overhead, and 2, never let the ball bounce. You are going to be gasping for breath. That was actually, and you kind of read my mind, that's going to be my next drill for my next vlog, which I haven't done in a while just because the end of the year has been crazy for me. Although Sun Soccer, I did hear that the new VCore 95 plays like a 98, meaning like has pretty big sweet spot, pretty maneuverable. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Andre, I have 4 rackets right now, and they're all the Yonex E-Zone 98 2020 version. That's a tough one because like I have one racket that's like kind of I'm not like in tournament mode based on my shape and my diet. I'm actually drinking a soda right now, but I need sugar. I'm not diabetic. My body needs sugar right now. I can feel it. So right now, all 4 of my rackets are strung with all different strings. I have one with the Selenko Hyper G, one with the RPM Blast, so I didn't cut that yet, one with the ISOSpeed baseline control, and then one with the most recent one, the Bad Blood RPM Hurricane. So those are, except for the Selenko Hyper G, those are all 4 of the most recent, those are the 3 most recent strings that I reviewed on this channel. But ideally, during tournament season and money tournament season, assuming there's no global pandemic and everything, you know, opens up as usual for tournament play and money tournament play, I usually have 4 rackets all strung with the same racket. So all 4 rackets strung with the same tension. And I do rotate rackets. So after one match or maybe one hitting session, I'll move on to racket number 2, and then racket number 3, and then racket number 4. So it kind of like wears out evenly. Correct. E-Zone 98 2020 version. Right now, I'm debating on whether going back to Selenko Confidential because I don't know. I do miss the Selenko Confidential. It's kind of like an emotional thing. Obviously, it's not gonna win me tennis matches. It's just more of like a comfort thing and what I think is best. Obviously compared with ISOSpeed baseline control, which is what I'm play testing right now. I'm using it. I use it against Christian in my latest match play. It's has a lot more spin potential, the Selenko Confidential, but the not the RP Blast, ISOSpeed baseline control is much much smoother and much easier on the arm. Well, Sun Soccer, you could always sell it. Eric Wang, I do use Selenko Confidential strung at 50 pounds on Ian's racket. E-Zone DR, that is arguably one of the most sought after rackets that was made in the last 10 years. And I think it was the highest rated and most praised E-Zone line, I think ever since the E-Zone thing. Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, you could always go to the 2017/2018 E-Zone. It's similar, but probably not nearly as good. Yeah, tennis reviews, that just means it swings easier, has a larger sweet spot. I'm stringing a family friend's racket of mine who, he has 3 kids that are all going to be state champions, actually, in Wisconsin when they're in high school. Just a family friend of mine's tennis racket. Yeah, the E-Zone Tour, you could always add weight to a lighter frame, but it's damn near impossible to take away mass unless you could shave off some of the racket, not the racket handle, the racket grip, especially if it's a one-hander, but most people here, I'm assuming, have a two-hander, so that's probably not a good choice. Yeah, Sun Soccer, there's nothing wrong with demoing. Nothing at all. Luke, it depends on how often you break strings currently, and how often you think you're going to be breaking strings in the future. You got to do like an Excel spreadsheet, the cost benefit analysis. I'm recording. Let's see. I'm recording a video tomorrow on what stringing machine I recommend almost everybody should be buying. It's not even like a brand thing. It's like the type. So obviously I. Long story short, I don't recommend a drop weight tennis stringer, and I don't recommend a 2-point mounting system. I recommend a 6-point mounting system, preferably with a stand, because you don't want to plop it on the table. You'll hurt your back, especially if you're a taller guy or gal. And I recommend a crank, because with a crank, you could easily upgrade to an electronic tensioner like this Tennis Head 2086 Professional, which is fantastic. Obviously, don't blow your money on a $7,000 string machine like a Wilson Bierdo. There's better ways to do it. See ya, Cats Mike. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for those comments on the Babolat RPM Hurricane. Yeah, Sun Soccer. I have friends in the Toronto and Mississauga area, so I'm wondering how they're doing. Did I say friends? No, they have family. They're family. They're extended family. So yeah, so like if unfortunately if like my grandma were to pass away, knock on wood that doesn't happen, I don't know how I would go up there for a funeral, because I don't know if that's like technically like an emergency. And yeah, they're from what I heard, including yourself, that yeah, they are pretty locked down. Yeah, James Lou, I'm trying to figure a way to put that in my workflow. Thank you. That's been heavily suggested on my comment, so thanks. I just got to find a way of doing that smoothly. I think I have a small following in Australia. It's pretty cool. I enjoy that. Aaron Johnson, for me, I don't think I needed an adapter bracket on my Gamma Progression 2 when I put it on, but it took me, I think, just under 30 minutes to install the Tennis Head 2086 Professional on my streaming machine. Sorry, James Lou. Yeah, last live chat, Reeker boy. Can't wait for this year to be over. What's up, Sam Lee 458? How you been? Yeah, 0 cases is good. 0 is most definitely good. Yeah, if you guys are curious about my setup, I'm actually recording a video after my World of Warcraft raid tonight, which is right after this live stream. I'm gonna make the script for it. So it's gonna be a little bit of a different one because I mainly do, vlogs, tennis ring reviews, and then match play stuff, match play trailers, and match play content. So it's gonna be a little bit different setup, but I'm gonna get this out to you guys because I think it's important not only to you guys that follow me and know who I am, but for other people as well. Yeah, Sun Soccer 777. Those if you think about it, university dorms are basically just jail cells that just don't have the jail cell name to it, just because you have at least in the American university system, the U.S. American university system, you just have a bunch of 18 to 25-year-olds with raging hormones, by the way, because you know exactly what goes on in a university bedroom when you mix all kinds of people around 18 to 25 in relatively prime physical condition together. You guys are sharing the same showers, the same toilets. You guys are going to class together. Yeah, it's gonna spike up like crazy naturally. Yeah, Andre Taggart. I'm glad it happened. Just be careful for like 16L or thinner gauges for slippery strings, because and I'll make sure I review this, but there's a tensioner. This part, which actually pulls the tension, let me pull it. Just be careful with this with the electric tensioner, for any electric tensioner, not just the Tennis Head 2086, because for especially for polyesters that are thinner, more slick, kind of like the Luxilon Alu Power and then the Luxilon 4G, if you don't fit this in and grip it in correctly when you push the lever down, there's like a 50% chance of it slipping if you don't take good precautions, which is obviously bad for the racket, bad for the string definitely, and bad for the machine on a long-term basis. It's not tragic or anything, especially if you have a 6-point mounting system. It's not really gonna crack the racket, but it's just something to look out for. If you guys ever buy it. Other than that, yes, the tensioner is absolutely. I love this thing. Hey Leonardo, is it cheaper? Is the Yonex Polytour Pro cheaper than the RPM Rough where you're at? Because I know it does. The price depends on whether you're in South America, what part of Europe, and I think all of US, at least the intercontinental US, I think they're all priced the same. Yeah, Icedorb 217. I have a list of strings I'm going to be reviewing in 2021. I haven't ordered it quite yet, but yes, I think Tier 1 and Grapple Snake, I think they each have at least one tennis string for me to review. Yeah, I do. So Jan, nice seeing you again after me giving you some tips for that one match play you sent me. I do have a 3-axis gimbal. It's in the form of literally a drone. So obviously with a drone, it has it's an okay camera, not gonna lie, but the gimbal's really, really good. So luckily for me, I'm able to take really cool B shots. I haven't done recently because it's cold outside. I don't want to damage my drone too much. But for my handheld camera, yes, I do need to get a drone for some B shots. Just the ones that I'm looking at for DSLR camera 3-axis gimbals, they're expensive. I think the cheapest one is like $200. I'm like, oh my god. So I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm kind of still weighing out the pros and cons of that. Or I could just take my drone and just, you know, fly it inside and, you know, take the B-roll shots as it's zooming up and about my condo. As long as I don't damage anything. Yeah, I have tried the Luxon Adrenaline back in college. I think that was over 10 years ago. Luke Halspel. Halsupple. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It was pretty good, and I think it's one of the cheaper ones, along with the Luxon Element. And I think Savage? I don't know if Luxon makes Savage anymore. Good, Leonardo. I'm glad I could save you money on that. Awesome. I've heard really good things about the DJI Mini too, so I think that's a good buy. Hugh Fam, I used to use the Wilson Blade V7 18x20 before I switched to the E-Zone 98 2020 version. A little too close. Whoa! Wrong way. Oh well. Part of life. Let's see. Hey, Tennis Elbow, how's the recovery going? Nice seeing you again. Yeah, I liked it. Me getting older and not being as strong as I should be right now. I needed something with a little bit more pop. That's why I went with the E-Zone. Also, a buddy of mine, Christian, who I played in a match play on my YouTube channel. He's a Wilson, not Wilson. He's the Onyx brand ambassador, so I wanted to help him out too. Say, Andre. I'll see you next year, probably. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're good. It always is tough. I use a parnell knot to start the crosses, and then I use just a regular double knot for tying off the end of the crosses and, excuse me, the two mains. Okay, so I have a Pros Pro tennis string. Let's order this big boy. This website, and I can comment on this because I'm a software developer. This website is so janky. But whatever works, right? Oh, I gotta register? Okay, I'm gonna grab my credit card. So my irrational fear right now is when I'm ordering this, you guys see my personal information. Justin Wong, Wilson Sensation. It's always a solid choice. Order a shipping option. What the heck? This website sucks. Come on, guys. Holy cow. So the shipping on this is as much as the strings itself. Okay, whatever. I'm doing this for you guys. All right, that's one. Glad none of you doxed me. Jan, I would say no. You might want to clarify what the hell they mean by line up your foot to the ball. I've never heard of that term before. See you, Reeker. I don't know if pros from the UK. Got from Big T Tennis. Yeah, seems European. Is that UK? I have no idea. Hey Harish, it depends on your playstyle and depends on what you previously used for your previous racket. Oh, I wasn't supposed to review this. Oops. Oh well. Should I just order all of these now? Oh, it's 16L. They don't have 16? Yeah, I guess they don't. Interesting. Dunlop explosive speed. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Jen. Yeah, this Lenko Hyper-V soft. This was a really big requested one from me. It's a V square. I like the color on that. It's pretty sweet. And the Tier 1 Black Knight. Where's the Joker? Where is he? Where are the other drugs going? $17 gauge. Huh. Yeah, it's pricey, but it's a really good string. I'm glad you tried it. ISO speed baseline control is it's definitely not a better version, but it's a much cheaper version of that. So you can give that a try if you want. Yeah, they have 16 gauge. What up? By the way, never, ever, 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 ever believe these string characteristics from any online retailer. it's a load of BS. Again, they're incentivized for you to buy stuff like this. You'll never see a string characteristic where like any of these stupid made up attributes is like 1 or 2 stars. It's always like 4 or 4.5 stars. It's nuts. It's pointless to have. If your minimum is 4 stars, what's the point of having 5 stars? Just have it literally be 1 star max, and then have it be 0, half, or a full 1. It just makes it to look better. It's so freaking stupid. Yeah, Abhijit, use your non-dominant hand. If it's at the throat, your non-dominant hand should be doing most, if not all, of the positioning of your racket changing to have a different grip. Ooh, string competitor. Hey, the Luxlon 4G. All right. Why not? One-step checkout? How come I see 2 steps? You see this? One-step checkout. Step 1, step 2. What the hell? What the hell is this? This is stupid. Absolutely stupid. Great. Look at this. There's 4 steps. 4 steps on the one-step checkout. Ugh. I have not tried the Crushbomb Max Power. I have not. Have you played with it yet? Yeah. Bruh moments, it might. You might have to send me a video for me to give my honest opinion on it. All right, it's done. So there's tier 1. Yeah, Nicholas Rios, Wilson Sensation. I actually have 3 reels of Wilson Sensation in my stockroom right now, which is like literally right behind the camera. It's my go-to synthetic gut, actually. I think it's actually worth it over the Prince Synthetic Gut with Duraflex. It's a very soft string. I really like it. I always recommend it to my my clients. Thanks, man. I think I'm gonna get red haircut next time. Or red hair coloring. Filipino with red hair guy. Oh god, never mind. That looks awful. I think I've seen this before. White transracial man believes he's Filipino. Jesus. Does he eat pancette every day? Does he eat dog? Jesus. This guy, I mean, a little flamboyant, but it's not a bad color. Is that red or purple? It's not too bad. Oh, maybe I'll stick with blonde again. We'll see. Yeah, Jan, I haven't had the time. I've just been busy like crazy. I'll get to it. Actually, maybe tonight, depending on how my World of Warcraft raid goes. I was analyzing more of your ground strokes, forehand and backhand, and your strategy against the gentleman that you played on the video. I would always recommend for a forehand, no matter what, unless you have a really Western grip, which you don't because you said semi-Western. Brahma, I would always recommend for forehands for both male and female tennis players, don't make contact too close to your body. Your elbow should definitely not be touching your rib cage when you make contact with the ball on the forehand side. I've never been to Italy. I've never been to Europe, but I need to before I either A, die, or something that's worse than death, get married and have kids. So I got to do that before either of those things happen. A lot of people have been telling me to try the Yonex Polytour spin stuff. Why am I looking at shoes? What are you doing? Polytour Tough. Oh, that's unfortunate. They don't have the L version. Huh. Ooh, man, that's expensive. 16L? Okay, so it's Polytour Spin. Polytour Spin G. Polytour Tough, which is incredibly cheap, it seems like. And Polytour Fire. Yeah, Nicholas Rios, I literally just released a tennis string review at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, which is about 3 hours ago, on the Babolat RPM Hurricane, which is literally the exact same tennis string, just a different name, as a Babolat Pro Hurricane Tour. So go check that out. That's a hefty one. 104 bucks. That's fine. Yeah. Thanks, Jen. Don't worry. I appreciate it though. Definitely appreciate it. Blau, I am on a diet because I am playing a match tomorrow at the Essential Tennis Court. I'm taking a half day tomorrow from work to get there by 10:30. So on top of playing, I'm actually doing a thing with Ian at Essential Tennis. For forehand bra moments, have a more open stance on your forehand. So if you're a righty, that means as you're loading up, load up on your right foot. And your right foot should be well more outside than your left foot. You don't want to have a closed stance when hitting a forehand if you want more hip rotation. Thanks, Abhijit. I'm used to it. I mean, you know, I'm not a millionaire, refresh, but like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's just, you know, this is what I promised that I would do for you guys. You know, I did a live auction, so I'll buy some stuff. That's not a problem. I'll just, you know, string more tennis rackets or teach more hours or eat less KFC. Not an issue. Yeah. It should be released based on his Tennis Warehouse's editing cycle. Those, let's see. I can't say it out loud. So there's going to be 6 videos that are going to be featuring me that should be released before the 3rd week of January. So I'll be on Essential Tennis quite a bit. No, bro moments. I'm actually going to surprise him with fast food. I'm already on that. I have it in my calendar before I head there in the late morning to swing by and pick up some KFC and Wendy's. So don't worry, I got that covered. Yeah, Jollibee with the spaghetti. Jollibee doesn't exist in the US. Your bedroom punk, are you talking about cameras for... It depends on what type of videos, along with the mic. So the number one rule, right? The very first rule in creating YouTube videos, content is the most important thing. The second most important thing is actually not the camera or the lens. It's actually... It might not even be top 5. So content is king. 2, it's actually audio. Audio is more important than the lens or the camera itself. Number 3, in my opinion, is lighting. So obviously, you know, my lighting's a little bit different because right now, because, you know, it's kind of like a gamer feel where, you know, we're just kind of hanging out. But for YouTube videos, it's obviously a lot brighter. So I actually have a photography light, one photography light, a keyring light, which I haven't used in a while over there. So I used for my first like 3 or 4 videos. And then I turn everything to the brightest possible. And I was actually advised that when I'm doing tennis string review videos or vlog stuff, to not have these lights in the background. It's a little bit distracting, which I completely understand. But for vlogs, it makes a lot of sense, or not vlogs, for live streams, it makes a lot of sense because that's kind of like what streamers do nowadays. So they have Jollibee in Chicago? So it really depends on, you know, what type of content you want to make your bedroom punk. But, you know, it's obviously I don't want you to spend $2,000 like I did on equipment for you to figure out that, you know, YouTube, you know, isn't the thing for you, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, I would buy a solid Logitech webcam. The mic, I would go with I mean, it depends on how much you have in your budget, similar to, you know, to tennis strings. I have a Samsung mic, and I'm very happy with it. Samsung. Yeah, Bilal, I would say stick with PS, the 97, the non-Federer one, because you can always add weight to it later. Yeah, I hope so too. I'm pretty confident in this one. I've been working out almost every single day except for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so I'm pretty happy with my my fitness level so far. But yeah, I'm not taking over Essential Tennis. It's I'm just being featured in 6 videos in a matter of like 3 weeks. Oh, it does? Are you mishitting it a lot? Or are your grommets, Kevin Lynn? Are your grommets okay? They might be old. If that's an issue, try the 16 gauge. I don't use vibration dampeners, bro moments. One, I actually like the feel of like the feedback, like the mishit that I do. I want that type of feedback. And two, dude, on some of these training hitting sessions I do, the dampener, like if I hit it too close, either the dampener just breaks or flies like halfway across the tennis arena. It's I hate it, and you lose it. It's hard to find sometimes. Mine don't break like that. No, they don't give you more control. Dampeners don't give you more control. Yeah, they can. If you mishit a grommet the right way, it'll snap any string. It'll cut right through it. It happens. Well, I mean, a grommet is a piece of plastic, right? That's all it is at the end of the day. So if you change the shape of the plastic fast enough and hard enough, aka a ball hitting it with a high amount of velocity, it's gonna be sharp for a split second and it's gonna cut through the string. You're a bedroom punk. That is false. You do not believe it gives you powers. It's actually scientifically proven in the School of Medicine. It has publications, and it's also athletes have testified to it as well. Kind of like those balanced wristbands. They actually do give you special powers the day after. So eat all the Popeyes and KFC you want. Peter Wynn, I have not tried the Kirschbaum Pro Line Evolution, but I did try the Kirschbaum Pro Line Evolution 2. And it's a good string except for one big thing. It supplies no spin whatsoever. Absolutely none. Because it used to be, so that building used to be an 8-court tennis facility in the Metro Milwaukee area. And then it didn't make enough money, so it got sold off. So half of that tennis building, or former tennis building, is now actually a soccer arena / foosball arena. The other half is split into 2 sections. There is Essential Tennis, right? And then there is the pod containers, which is what you see here in the background. So that's why it's the building is shared between 3 different businesses. I haven't tried Luxilon Adrenaline in over a decade, Kevin Lynn. Okay, guys, my World of Warcraft raid is starting very soon. So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down in the section below, and I will get to it. Jan, I will take a look at your serves either tonight or first thing tomorrow while I'm at my work meeting, which is typically what I do nowadays because I'm a bad employee. And if you guys did like this and enjoy this, found any informative value, hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out this channel and helps other tennis players find this type of content to help them save money and to kind of develop a community. So as always, guys, I will see you around, and I will see you next year with a lot more tennis content. And